Disney and Pixar are so desperate to make Toy Story 5 happen and bring back the magic that they brought back not only one of the original directors there at Pixar, they're also so rushed that they might have stolen some of their ideas back from Apple. Let's talk about some quirks of Andrew Stanton coming back to Pixar here on That Park Place. Hello, I am Jonas J. Campbell, an investigative reporter for That Park Place, and here with me is life-size toy, Mr. VashSky. Vash, what happens when people pull the string on your back there?
There's a snake in my boot. Of course, Jonas. Come on now. Everybody knows that. No, the Toy Story franchise, we got to be honest, Jonas, it has been a very big moneymaker for the Walt Disney Company, and they have propagated Toy Story-themed lands throughout all of their parks worldwide. So you would think that, well, hitting that well again makes sense, but I don't know this time. Maybe they might be hitting it too much.
Yeah, I think you might be right. And obviously, when you get into fifth sequel territory, I think they've seen that Marvel money where they just do like a shared universe, and they're thinking, we're going to do a lot of that. I think they tried to do that with Star Wars, and it obviously did not have success. I think they're started to fiddle with that in doing that in like a live action Disney remake sort of way, and that seems to have not gone well for them either. But here we are. Let's go to Laughing Place and look at their coverage of Toy Story 5. They're out there at D23. Andrew Stanton confirmed as Toy Story 5 director, new story art revealed. First of all, Andrew Stanton, for those of you who are not aware of who this is, he is animation legend Andrew Stanton. He is one of the original Pixar guys. He is the director of films like Finding Nemo. Is he also the director of Finding Dory? Worked as a writer on Toy Story and A Bug's Life. He was the director on Wall-E, and which, by the way, if I can point this out, Wall-E is going to enter into this conversation because not only is it an Andrew Stanton film, it is the only Disney Pixar film that is nominated into the Criterion Collection for very, very good reasons here. So he's a big deal.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. But again, his star was tainted just a little bit because of John Carter, and it's really, really unfortunate. Remember, there was a time, Jonas, that John Carter was going to be seen as Pixar's first live-action film until it was kind of late in the game switched to Disney live action, and then obviously it came out, and well, we know the story of what happened there. It was a real big pivot for the company after that, and I think Bob Iger took everybody aside and said, well, this is kind of a collective failure, and it's one that we'll have to share the burden for together as a result of that film coming out. And that was at a time when, when they had box office bombs, it was a big deal. Now, that's just another Given Tuesday for the Walt Disney Company. But for
right.
Andrew Stanton, that was a big deal.
Yeah, and I also want to point out that Andrew Stanton has a career outside of Disney and Pixar. He has some project called In the Blink of the Eye, that is, we're still waiting to see how that turns out. He's worked on a lot of big projects, Better Call Saul. He worked on Legion, worked on Stranger Things. So he's somebody who has a career outside of Pixar, and I'm starting to wonder whether or not he doesn't want to return to Pixar. That's me just speculating here, and what a big deal it was for them to get him back. I was wondering, in fact, where he was when we were talking about how they could revive everything over there at Pixar. The announcement that Brad Bird is coming back to write and direct Incredibles 3, that was a big deal. But Andrew Stanton, I think this is a bigger deal because, well, we'll continue on here and I'll explain why. During tonight's entertainment showcase at D23, the Ultimate Disney Fan Event, Pixar gave some major updates on Toy Story 5. Look at that picture. That's a great picture, by the way. Looks like Woody's back. So I guess he decided to unabandon Bonnie there, and they're going to undo Toy Story 4. Maybe they'll just erase it from existence. That seems like a good idea. First, it was confirmed that Andrew Stanton would be helming the 5th installment of the Toy Story franchise. This announcement comes after Pixar Chief Creative Officer Pete Docter seemingly let Stanton's involvement on the project slip during an appearance earlier this year. For those of you who don't know, that was during the Inside Out 2 press screenings. Stanton has previously directed some of Pixar's most acclaimed films, including Wall-E and Finding Nemo, and had a hand in several other Pixar productions in the past 3 decades. He was part of the Brain Trust, for those of you who know what that is. Of course, he's also known for John Carter. In addition to confirming the project's director, new art from the film was revealed. And see, they're missing some aspects here. The film is supposed to be about the toys wrestling with the advent of technology for children. And this is actually an area where I think that Andrew Stanton is an excellent choice, specifically because of Wall-E, because he was the writer and director on Wall-E. And when you think about the themes that are present in Wall-E, first of all, there's some light environmentalism in there, but I don't think it's environmentalism as much as it's a comment on consumerism and the fact that everybody is fat and sitting in their chairs and barely looking past their devices, and they're only interested in, oh, it's the new Slurpee in a cup or whatever, and they're letting robots decide their future. They've basically given in to the bread and circuses, and it's not even that much of a circus, in order to live their lives in a chair and just do nothing and be shoveled around, so that they can look at their device next to the pool, or they can look at their device in their bed, and they can look at their device in whatever. It's in the chair. The chair just goes around while other things do things for them. So there's a maturity in Wall-E, which also has not much dialogue in it for a kid's film, that I don't know. I'm not going to say that Disney's just going to let him run wild with Toy Story 5, but with Andrew Stanton writing this, the writer of Wall-E doing this, I think this has a higher chance of actually saying something than I thought it would when they were just going to stamp, forgive me for saying this, Pixar director number 8 onto this film.
But here's the thing, Jonas. I think you're right about this, and it's really difficult as an artist to convey a message without having it sound preachy or having it detract from the film. To impart a message like that onto something like Wall-E and actually have it enhance the film and really kind of provide this, I don't want to say cult classic, but this legendary status amongst, animation heads and well, obviously the people in the zeitgeist going back to that film and going like, whoa, this was really kind of profound. It's really almost impossible to do that. And Andrew Stanton does it so effortlessly, so well. So when I see kind of the message that they're kind of conveying here, I don't know. I think I agree with you. Andrew Stanton being attached gets me excited.
I'm also going to point out that while Finding Dory is a movie that quote unquote didn't need to happen, it's one of the few films that Pixar did where that idea of talking about people and their disabilities and actualizing themselves actually comes out in a really interesting way. Most of the main characters in Finding Dory are disabled in some way and have to overcome that, but not in a preachy way. To the point where if they did Finding Hank, which I don't think they're going to do that, they'll probably call it Finding Nemo 3 or something like that. I really like the character of Hank the Septipus, who wants to live in a coffee jar all by himself. There was something charming about that. Of course, there's also the fact that maybe Ellen DeGeneres is taking a little bit of a career hiatus for now. But with the way things are going, Incredibles 3, Toy Story 5, maybe we're going to see another Finding film here. So, this is I think this is good for Disney. If they're going to do a Toy Story 5, this is probably the way to make it good, short of bringing back John Lasseter, which they're definitely not planning on doing. Of course, I say definitely, but maybe if the checks get big enough and they get desperate enough. There are a couple of things that I want to point out here. This decision was, for those of you who may not understand, there is another villain on top of technology for this film. Because if the themes of Toy Story 3, for instance, are accepting that you need to move on from certain things so that you can grow and maybe repeat the cycle and be joyful in a different way, they also insert Lotso, Hug and Bear to be the quote unquote villain of the preschool. So they have something that also appeals to children that are understanding that it's not just about adults crying over passing on their toys to the next generation. This one also has a clear villain. And Vash, I think you have the image for that one.
I think I do. This one comes from the Movie Podcast. And of course, at D23, because everybody is there right now. Toy Story 5 is about the gang going against the electronics and fighting against an army of Buzz Lightyear stuck in toy mode. And yes, there are I think 50 Buzz Lightyears present. And you see, Jonas, that's how you fight off the sting of Lightyear. You just get more Lightyear.
Yeah, that's right. This should clear out all of those Chris Evans Buzz Lightyears from the shelf. And whew, man, that was a big woof. There, that film struggled on so many levels. They basically made. I don't want to get into it. There's a video called "Everything Woke About Lightyear" that you can go check out on a different channel of a similar name. There's one more thing that I want to point out. This decision was maybe so rushed that they didn't even have time to do custom animation. There was an announcement video that was put out on the stage, and they showed this on the stage. I'm going to go over here to an account called @DylanMcD8. Maybe it's McDate. I don't know. Stealing the idea for this from a friend, but yeah, these are literally just the animations from the watchOS for Toy Story Apple Watch faces. Look at this right here. Literally the exact same animation. I was wondering why they didn't even use voice clips of any of the actors for this. So they have confirmed that they got Tim Allen and Tom Hanks for this. And for those of you who, yep, there it is. Hopefully we don't get dinged on the music for this. But yeah, they're working really fast over there at Disney these days to try to get all of this going. I would say that this is a sign that while sequels may be not a good thing, that's the question I want to ask. Is the creative engine actually working there at Disney? Are we seeing signs of life? They've turned the key and it's maybe sounding like it might start. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that in the comments section down below? Of course, like this video if you like this video, and consider subscribing to That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.